18, 2021 to order. Let's see. Lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first item is minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved by Dan, seconded by Russ. Discussion?
Call for the question.
Questions been called for to approve the August 4th, 2021 regular meeting minutes of the City Council. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. I take that as unanimous. Okay. Next item is petitions communications. I handed out a sheet to everybody. There's no vote or anything. This is just information. This has to do with the bicentennial sale. That people, if they ever want to make a comment, that's just send it. They have an address to send it to, and that's all I'm doing is hand it out. I gave it to Jeremy. I think I gave one to Mike too, the press. So they want to put that in. I handed it out now because everything's due September 15th, so you don't have a lot of time. So.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
is the city going to write a letter in support?
I already did and gave it to them, and that's what they're saying, that I have done it, but if you want to do it again, go for it. You know, because that made it through that went through the first round.
Okay,
There's like 7 of them that's up, and it made it through the first round. This is the second round. I don't know how many there are. I'm not an expert or very knowledgeable on this, how this works.
I heard it was very competitive this year, so I just wondered if we had sent a letter in support.
We did.
Great, thank you.
So, and they made it to the next round, so, and so if anybody has plus or minus, whatever, you know, comment on it, yes, you can still send it to it. Also, I got an email communication. I told you guys that I applied for the infrastructure or grant for the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act. And there was like 200 and, I don't remember the number again, 34, 23, 34, somewhere in that area. Applicants were number 62. Okay, and there's quite a few that didn't, or that's below us in the rankings. Our ranking is 315 out of a total of 500. And it doesn't start at 500. I don't think anybody made, nobody really made 500. It was in the high 300s. So that was like I remember it was like 370 something was the high. So I think we made it to the next round. Now it's going to the committee. They're going to look at the rankings. This was done by DNRC, this ranking. A bunch of engineers and that get together and they rank the project for viability and all that, you know. And so we ranked fairly high. Now it's going to the politicians to go looking through, and then it'll be recommended, and I can't remember where it goes next. It might be the governor. Governor has a committee, I think. And go in there, and then it'll finally end up on the governor's desk, and then he gets to say yay or nay for them. So I'm thinking we got a good shot at getting the full. It's like they're putting us in for the full amount that we asked for, the 1.9 something. So that should help the city when we get that to knock down our $12 a month for water down to $6 or something. Because remember, we have to have a match, so we still have to match half of this. This will cover half of the cost of it. It's a 1-to-1 match, but it's better than not. So,
Is there anything we can do, Mr. Mayor, in terms of reaching out to our legislative people or?
If you go up to the website, on the Montana website, where was that? Department of Commerce, I think. Just put in ARPA on the montana.gov site, ARPA, and search for that. There'll be a website that actually tells you the members of the committee, and that's where it's at, is that committees. And there's like 3 people that are from the governor appointees, that are from his office. There's like Department of Commerce, Department of DNRC, and one other, and I don't remember what the other department, and there's 3 senators and 3 representatives. Neither one of ours is on either one, or is in there. But there's like 9 of them.
Friends. Yeah, they may be good friends.
Might be, look, that's the name. I can't tell you one of them. I don't remember the names. So.
But we should all look at that, and in case we know any of those people, reach out to them.
Would not be a bad idea.
Great.
And also to get on site, you can still put in your, I think they're meeting the 26th, if I remember right. And so you can send in comments to them, email to them, to the committee as a whole even too.
Oh,
And put in your yays or nays for, hopefully it's yay. So that's all I got for petitions. I would have had it in the packet, but those both came. One came in yet today and one came in yesterday, so couldn't put it in the packet. Okay, the next item, mayor's report. The first one I got on here is didn't really know how to state it, but the discussion of the University of Montana Western Beaver County High School status of vigilante field possible sale. And first off, I want to apologize to the chancellor. I was told and more people that I made statements saying that he lied. I apologize if I made that. That didn't happen that way. You know, so I just want to publicly put it on the record that I apologize to the chancellor for that. But if the two of you maybe can get up, or there, like I said, there's microphones if you want. Mike and Gary, and there's a microphone underneath too if you want, if you just want to sit or hear.
I probably don't need a microphone. We're used to talking.
And maybe just for the record, if you both will say your names, because I'll probably massacre names on that.
Michael Breed, Chancellor for the University of Montana Western.
Gary Haverfield, Superintendent of Beaver County High School.
Thank you. And this is, I promised that I'll try to talk to them and get them to come, and they both agreed to come. You know, and so we can, this whole thing, I'm hoping that they agree to just state where we're at on the whole thing, so it's all out there and get the public, so nobody's worried anymore, at least for 3 years, or whatever the number you guys say, okay? You know, hopefully not longer, because then that really slows the college down, or university down a lot, but.
Do you want to talk on the high school start? I can just talk about what university.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a cooperative and a collaborative working relationship with the University of Montana Western for 40 years regarding Vigilante Stadium. And we've done that without any type of agreement in place. There's no MOU, there's no nothing. We just work together and always have. We're professional, educated people that work together and in the best interest of both entities. Obviously, they're trying to build a stadium, which we are in full support of. And there's a ton of reasons why I think it's really, really important that they have a stadium. Obviously, our interest is that we use Vigilante. We use it collaboratively with them right now. We have a number of monetary resources devoted to Vigilante Stadium, so we would like to have it. And so, you know, probably been here a while, but when the university talked about building a stadium, I don't know how many people asked myself and asked Bill Wilson and asked a few other people, well, what's going to happen to Vigilante? Well, it's not going to disappear, folks. And so, it's, you know, to make it very short for you guys, obviously we want it. The university knows what we want. They want us to have it. It's what we've talked about briefly is that it's going to be for some type of a nominal fee, which has not been determined. We don't know what that's going to be. I have no idea what that's going to be. We have a process to follow. They have a process to follow. I'm hoping it's a year. If it's 3 years, then they don't have a stadium yet. And so, but if that's what it takes for them to get one, then we'll wait. When it gets time for them to break ground and they do the things that they need to do to build a stadium, then we'll talk more about what the details of that will be. But in a nutshell, that's really where it's at. And you know, as always, as you guys know, I've been here a time or two to see you guys on a few things. Nothing has changed. We will share and communicate with you like we always have. Our goal is to work with you guys as we always have, and we'll continue to do that. And so there's just nothing in place right yet other than what I just told you. We want it, they know we want it, they want us to have it, and we'll do whatever, they'll do whatever we can, and we'll do whatever they'll do whatever they can to make sure that happens, and then we'll, you know, when the time comes, we'll have, you know, we'll announce it, and you guys will be in the loop about what's going on. So I was excited about that, to be honest with you. Obviously, I'm excited for them to get a stadium, but obviously our interest is we practice there, we play there, we have track there, you know, when we have money invested in that place. And so then we'll have our own. And to be honest with you, everybody in our league thinks it's ours anyway, and we have to tell them, no, it's the universities, we don't. We just have money invested in it. So that's where we're at with it. And so appreciate the opportunity to let you know where we're at, with it, and let you know what's going on. And I'm hoping we get to come talk to you sooner than later about a real transaction that we can put together at some point in time.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. I think I'll just add, echo everything that Gary said on there. The only thing I guess I would add is, based on some of the comments and things that I've heard, I'd draw your attention back to the January 2nd Board of Regents meeting where Director Muffett brought this forward. He brought it forward for the sole intent, and he let them know that the property hadn't been acquired yet, but he was bringing it forward so that a private entity could start a conversation, or public entity, so that the high school could start those conversations. Regent Rogers asked the question, what happens if the agreed upon price is less than the appraised value? The response was it has to come back to the board, then, and the board will determine if it's in the best interest of the university system. So that's the process. Once we secure the property, which we still are working on, we still have not secured that property. Once the property is secured and we're able to start looking at how and what we want to do as far as the sale or the transaction, that will have to go back to the Board of Regents if it's anything less than the appraised value. And they're aware of that. And again, unfortunately, we're a lot further away from that than I'd like to be, but as soon as we can get to that point, we're happy to have those conversations. We're happy to stand for any questions.
I've got one brief question on, the appraised value was like 1.4 million. It appraised for best possible use of the apartment building, and it has deed restrictions where it can never be apartment, so how can they appraise it as someplace to build apartments when they can't build apartments? It has to remain a park. Isn't that,
Yeah, I mean,
I thought appraisals had to be based on,
I can try to answer that if you want.
yeah,
I don't
thank
know.
you.
I think that's a question for the appraisers.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't appraise it. We just asked it to be appraised. Why they used that idea is I don't even understand that either. Probably because they just did their appraisal and they did it the way they thought they should do it, and so they used those types of comparisons because that's what they do, not understanding the full dynamics of that particular piece of property, I'm guessing. So that's my understanding, even though I never talked to the appraisers about that. But
The highest and best years.
yeah. So
But if it can't be used for that, I don't like that. I don't understand how you can appraise for something when it can't be used. The
Yeah.
highest and best
Yeah,
use for that piece of property is a park and always will be a park.
yeah, we couldn't answer that because we're
And
obviously
so,
not the appraisals.
At one
appraisal
point,
people.
appraisal, I wouldn't think anybody with any business sense would pay anywhere close to that because it's a park. I mean, what's a park realistically worth as far as selling? I mean,
It's a money hog.
right. Right. I mean, realistically, when the college is done with it, they should pay the high school money.
We'll take it, but I don't think that's we're willing to take it, but yeah.
Good setup.
Doctor, I really want to see you do that with the Board of Regents.
I'll take that under advisement.
Well, I was just curious, like I said, about the appraisal being not, I mean, I don't know how to say say it, but I know I would have doubts that hiring an appraisal would come up, a company that did appraisals that way, not based on fact. But
Is what you're saying, Raymond, that it might behoove the high school to get another appraisal?
Well, you know, the whole, again, until it becomes time to start making that
Yeah.
discussion, and we actually sit down with the university, you know, the chancellor kind of explained his process to follow. What would the board of regents would say? I don't know. I think we have an understanding that, again, we have nothing in writing now, folks. There's just nothing out there. We just don't. It's just a communication that again, that we want it, they know we want it, they want us to have it, and they hope to be able to provide it to us for a minimal fee, and that's what that means. I couldn't answer that because nothing hasn't been discussed, but that's their intent. So they'll have, obviously they have processes to follow, as do we, and when we get closer, then that type of stuff, if it comes down to we have to have another appraisal because of that concern or something else, then if we feel like at that time it's needed, absolutely we'll consider that, you know. So, but right now it's just too far away for us to worry about all that stuff.
Well, isn't the sale of this supposed to be one of the major fundraisers for the new stadium, Doug?
No, the sale of it is certainly something, the main portion of this, they're anticipating to be able to do the total amount through fundraising dollars. If there's the opportunity, there's multiple phases of this stadium. We have, you know, phase one, which is just being able to get a turf field with a set of bleachers, and then beyond that, all the way to an entire facility and center. So it can range anywhere from $4 million to $12+ million project. So we have to fundraise, we'll have to have that $4 million because we actually have to have that stadium pretty much built, or at least the turf built, before we could ever do a transaction with the high school regardless, because you know, we need to have, once we turn it over to the high school, we're going to need to be able to move over to our stadium. So yeah, we're still, the sale of the property would not be the do or die for the stadium project.
That's good to hear.
Mr. Mayor, just so that I can help cool the waters a little bit and bring this full circle, I was the mayor that signed over the quitclaim deed. And I was the one that found the action by the Board of Regents and talked to the commissioner about that. You probably read my letter as well. And I appreciate both of you coming here and bringing forth the information, and that's the full intent, is to have a good project for the community that we can all support and we can work together on. And I think you guys are on the right track. I'm very full aware of how the state can hire appraisers for best use, and it has nothing to do with what the project values really are. So I dealt with that in aeronautics, where there were 3 owners of an airport, and they were appraising it for condos on the river, and it was 100 feet straight down to the river. So, you know, I've seen those appraisals, and I think you've got a similar one on that. So I can understand it's not in your control, and you weren't even chancellor then, were you?
I was not.
You get to pick up the pieces.
This has been, you know, I'm going to have to learn this sooner or later, so this has been a good crash course.
So if anything I can do to help you guys, just call it.
Well, thank you, appreciate that. Other questions?
I appreciate you guys coming,
Yeah,
I really do, and I apologize. It was just, George showed me the Board of Regents sale, and they voted to sell it, and we're like, what the? And that stirred us, and off we go. And
Well, I think we can both, man, as this process progresses and as we start engaging, I hope sooner than later, but when we start engaging those conversations, more than happy to come back and address the council. But again, our process requires open public meetings with the Board of Regents and, you know, obviously with your board, but happy to address that at this committee as well.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank
Staff
you.
proposal, appreciate you guys providing us the opportunity to come visit with you. We're hoping to talk to you more about it soon.
I understand, we agree.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you, too, thank you. Okay, next item is to discuss amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 preliminary budget. Like I said, I was gonna put it on each meeting's agenda until we vote next week, or next meeting, I mean. So you'll see it back on there again. I would like to add one thing to it. And I gotta ask you guys, I can't just add it because it's your budget now. I've talked to R.E. Miller, and he gave us a price to pave Reeder Street near the ambulance barn. And it was approximately it was a little less, but I'm putting in the budget, if you guys agree, $30,000. And I can take it, we have, if you look at the budget, which some brought it, some didn't. This side didn't. But let me tell you, in gas tax, it's the 2820. You have in there, starting cash this year is 102,000. And at the end, I'm looking at page number 2. Yeah, that's the balance sheet, is what we're looking at. Under there, on page 2, under 2820 is the fund. If you go across, I have it on the far right, the second far right column called at the top starting cash. I add up the cash available, the interest or investment and petty cash together. We're starting with 102,000, and if you look to the left a little bit further, it's ending up, if all the things happen in the budget, it'll end up at 95. I'm predicting, or I'm hoping that you guys will agree to drop that down to 65, or around there, to do the budget payment. R.E. Miller can pave it.
Timeline? Timeline on that?
Second week after Labor Day.
Awesome.
So however
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Russ, seconded by Mary Jo. How's that? Any further discussion? It'll be under, if you go look under gas tax, it'll be under object code 398, which is contract services. You'll be a line item under there for 30,000. It's a little less, but I always like to round up just to cover. But it's like he bid about 27,000, so.
Don't normally opine on such things, but I think that's a very worthwhile public works project. I drove down Reeder Street on my way to the grocery store after I left City Hall today, and I was very glad that I had a vehicle with 9 inches of gravel beds.
Yeah, that start and stop tends to dig things out.
So perhaps we can have the city blade go down and clean that up a little bit.
I would put dirt in it Monday morning,
Yeah.
and it's already been,
It's on.
but yeah, we talked about it again this afternoon.
Well,
So.
we discussed that earlier, that you're gonna have to keep on that if they got dirt in.
Yeah.
But the cost comes into play is we have to prep it, and that's the plan. We're gonna start about a week before, you know. And we'll make sure we understand what he means by the second week after Labor Day. Does that mean the, what was it, the 19th?
20th.
Well, the 20th or the one before. I'm
We're
not
gonna
sure
pay
which
the-
one it means.
Hope to pay the 20th. They're gonna start cleaning it out on the 13th. Prepping it, I guess is
You know,
what
prepping's the word. Getting everything at the right height and everything.
They'll close the street off when they start prepping it.
We have to, we'll
Yeah.
keep it closed
Well,
for
this-
that week. Aside from, the ambulance will still be able to get out along the side, or,
Around the Atlantic.
yes.
And we'll visit with them again and run that one.
And the neighbors too, on all that.
And I'm sure they'll be happy to take a week of trouble having that street.
I would hope so, I don't know any other way to do it. So,
Do we have to do any storm drain work down
no. What we're doing is we're gonna guide it to go to Atlantic Street or to the other one that will then flow down. You know, so The alley will be the highest, and then it'll just sort of taper downwards.
So 9th Street will handle the bulk of it, basically. Yeah.
Some of it, I can't say the bulk, but it's gonna be split half and half about,
Yeah, well, that's it, it gets all the traffic, so it melts off quick, this is what I was thinking.
yeah.
Call for the question.
Question called for to allow me to change the budget under gas tax 2820, account 430000, object code 398, to make it 30,000, which will change the balance down around 65, somewhere in there, if I did my math right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Now, this is not a proven final budget, but this is just adding it in, because it's your guys' budget.
We'll get 2 new pages next week. This way.
2 more, yeah. You'll get a new balance sheet and a new gas tax under that section in there. So, other than that, that's all I have. Do any of you guys have any discussion on budget you want to go to? If not, what?
I was going through the budget and looking for the building out at the ponds. And where is that in the budget?
Buildings. Oh, you talking about the water and sewer?
We
I got
talked
rid of
about,
those.
about raising it up a little bit and leveling that out, and
All that's gone
all of that's gone.
for this year, unless you guys want to put it back. I didn't put it in there this year.
Okay, I didn't understand that process of how that went through water, sewer, but then didn't.
The money's still there, it's just not budgeted for anything now.
And if you guys want to go through and put it on the agenda and amend the budget, I mean, budget's a living document, but all it takes is, it's a little hassle, which is probably good, because then you can do it really fast with no problem.
Mr. Mayor, it made sense to me that it would be put on the back burner just because there are so many other projects being done.
Right.
So that made perfect sense. I just didn't understand the process. But, you know,
That's what happens. I didn't put it in there. You guys can add it as a council anytime you want. I mean, because it was just held up. It was taken 4 years and water and sewer never got out. And I know there's a lot of questions being asked and all that. And I didn't really want to dump it on the new mayor because I only had 4 months left. And they didn't even really, the new mayor wouldn't really have known what we're trying to do. So I thought, let him bring it up, or let you guys tell him to go do something like that. And then you get fresh sights, because I'm thinking maybe a lot of it was me. And so I'm just backing away off that. Maybe the new mayor can come in with new ideas on how to fix it right and present it to you guys, or you guys start working with the new mayor. So it's still, the money's just sitting in there. You guys can still do it.
Well, being the new mayor as a carpenter, maybe he'll build it free of charge.
Advertising for him, right?
That's right. Full name of it.
I'm not saying that. Any others?
It's written with your writing.
Any other info? Or any discussion or any of that? Okay, now what we'll do, just to inform the public also, is I have the resolutions for street maintenance, lighting, all of that, along with all the SIDs, the budget for you guys, to the resolution to accept final budget. What else? All the bonds, the payments, not the revenue ones, but the ones you have to do assessments, tax on. That's the police retirement. Well, the street maintenance one, the SAD is in the street maintenance budget here, or assessments. All of them, I can't remember all of them, they're in your book. All those resolutions will be on the next meeting. Okay, so we'll have to vote on all of them. And what I'm going to do is, like I've done in the past, just to save paper so trees don't die for us. I mean, like one of these, there's like 58 pages. These are double-sided. Okay. That's just for the street maintenance, and the one lighting is the same thickness. I will not print, if you look at them, they have a bunch of tables. Okay, and in those tables, each one of them is a tax ID, and you could look across and you can see what the state rents you is, RU is, residential unit, CU is, commercial unit. It has the how big it is, how many acres, and then what's the cost, what are we assessing you? It's got every piece of property in town in there. I won't print those. And everybody can look at them. We'll have one that sits with the full, but what you guys will see is just the 2 pages resolution. Okay, for those. The rest of them, like the SIDS, there's only like 1 extra page. I'll print all of them so you can see, you know, for the SIDS. And the budget will be not the whole, it'll just be 2 pages, because the budget will be the budget book. How the resolution for the budget is the budget book along with the attachment of 2 pages, so there's no difference in that. Just to tell you guys, and then next meeting, you guys will have a vote on all of the resolutions, and at that point, the budget will be done, it'll be fine. Assuming you guys pass all much.
Will that be available on the website?
All the resolutions and all these things in full glory is on the website, along with the resolution for the budget, the final budget. Well, not the resolution, but the actual final budget. Preliminary's up there now, and I will put, as soon as you guys vote it on next meeting, I'll put the final up there on the website too. So, okay, we'll move on then. Unless there's any questions. And again, we'll have another item on there right before all the votes on, you guys want to change preliminary. Because you can still change it even then up to the time you vote final. As soon as you vote final, and I'm only saying this to help some new ones, as soon as you vote final, then the way to change it, you have to go through whole public hearings, go through the process of the finance committee again, and amend the budget. And then you gotta have a vote to amend. So it's extra work, but it can be done. Like I said, living document, you can always change it, just takes a little longer besides now. Next item, citizens request. I'll take a few minutes to let you guys look it over, and if you have any questions.
I've got a couple of questions. There's one big question on here, the cats. I see on here there's a list, the Humane Society won't accept cats anymore. What are they gonna do with the cats if they're catching?
Time to talk to what to do.
The city's not gonna be trapping cats, and I guess that's what I was wondering, what they're gonna do with them when they trap them.
I don't know. I really don't know. You guys have an idea?
They trap them here and turn them loose over there, or?
That was something that was, we can maybe move them out to the county where we.
Advertise them as
Just-
mouse over.
Yeah, and we can keep them for a while here. I mean, I don't want to keep them really long because it's going to eat a lot of cat food and a lot of cat
The
litter.
city didn't trap them and let the private individual do something with them, because otherwise, what are we gonna do with our own cat humane society up? Breed them forever, I mean.
And that was where we was hoping with the Humane Society or the animal shelter or whatever they call it, it was to help all of that. And then we give them donations to help offset, not that it covers all the costs, but to offset some of the costs to do spaying all the animals that they catch feral. To spay them, to try to control the population, but there's a lot of people in town that don't do that. And there's no way of keeping up. I don't know what to do, I really don't. I mean, and we're not gonna say here in an open meeting what's possibilities to do. So, not that I'm trying to hide anything, I just don't want to be assigned my name.
It seems to me with those, that it just seems to be a private problem. I don't know, if it feral cats on your property, I don't know why the city gets involved with
Well, it kind of works as in the city, so. I agree. I mean, I don't know, I'm at a loss, I really am. It's not trying to speak for Todd. I'm
Feral
not-
cats are under a different thing as a dog or something, I believe, I don't know what, I don't know. I know they're an issue.
Well, even like there's one here, you know, raccoon underneath somebody's shed.
It's fish and game.
We fall under animal control, the trap skunks too.
Well, skunks and raccoons are more easier, because I don't think skunks if I remember right, is a vermin, whatever word you want to call them. So that's not as hard to get rid of. And I think a raccoon almost is classified the same, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because I don't think Fish and Game gets involved with raccoons.
I wouldn't think so.
Now, you might have to have a license to trap.
Raccoons.
Don't you call the fire department for that?
But you do cats and trees, you used to raccoons.
I see a lot of raccoons in trees.
And we do also trap beaver too. But just for everybody knowing, we are not killing beaver either. We're trying to place them in an area where it seems like they can live the safest.
Braden's got a big park over there.
Sorry. I just bought a new case of shotgun shells. I'm not as pleasurable as beavers and I'm not afraid to say it.
And I tell you right now, just for the record, we have not dumped it on Raymond's property yet.
I'm happy to tell you that if you look on, let me see, it would be claim number or report number 11110, and it was by Mrs. Charlene Logie. One of the campers, the camper from Utah, is gone. That disappeared either yesterday or this morning. And we've been storing that for a couple of years now. The ice fishing house that we've been storing, that the city of Dillon has been storing on their streets, is still there. And that's been there for more than a year. But at least one, I'm not sure who did that or how that happened.
We did it.
You did, okay, that's great.
That ice fishing house or hut or whatever, I thought was going to be moved as well, so I'll have to look at that again.
Thank you very much. That, both of those were really interfered with being able to see around those corners, so that really helps. And I know that Mr. Heberling brought in a list of alleys that needed to be bladed. The 500 block of Pacific is still, could we make sure that that's still on that list? Thank you very much.
I like potholes in my alley, it slows down the traffic.
We're high-centered.
Tight tires. Just kidding.
No, the guys have been busy, if you haven't noticed, we've been trying to pave as much as we can. So now it's paving down in September, October, will be grading alleys again. Because it'll be getting closer to too late for paving. So that's how the whole thing works. You can't do all of it all the time. Unless you guys want to raise more money and hire more people.
But you can't find them either.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate it. Is there a timeline on when those streets will be paved, especially, I'm gonna say, Orr Street from Idaho to probably Washington, and then the next street, and then it goes down Idaho, and all of those are dirt. Are those, will those be repaved this year?
From what I was told by the contractor, at least Kip, and talking to the engineers, I don't know if there's a firm date on when it's gonna be paved. They're planning on trying to get down Idaho Street to Reeder. They would like to go Glendale. They're not sure they're gonna make it that far this year. Okay, but that's what they're hoping. They for sure wanna go, and if you notice, they're reaching to Reeder right now. They got all the service lines on between Orr and Reeder all dug up. They put temporaries in for everybody that what I understand, everybody's working now on temps. And I'm thinking either today they've started or tomorrow they're gonna start to rip everything out. So now they can just dig down and rip all the water line out with no problem, get it all taken out, put the new ones in and attach the new service lines. You know, after they do I'm making it sound a lot easier than it really is, if they gotta go through. And then what I understand is they'll do some more, they'll go up and move down Washington the same way. I don't know how far they're gonna make it, but once they stop and they head out to going across the field, at that point, they'll bring pavers in to finish what they've done. I don't know if there's a specific date set for that, but it's gotta be soon, September timeframe or October at the latest. Because like I said, asphalt gets really tough to handle that late in the year. So they plan on getting what they've dug up done this year.
Well,
Then
please express our appreciation to them. I mean, we really appreciate all that is going on.
Okay, we will. Any other questions on it? Or discussion, any other questions, discussion, okay, we'll move on. Reports of officers and boards of the city, library board, Mr. McGinley.
No meeting, no report.
Thank you. City attorney, Mr. Dillon.
No meeting, no report. No, you lie.
There's a report, there's no meeting.
Anyway, I am, of course, working on the city's case against Mr. Skradsky. We held a hearing yesterday afternoon. We did not finish the hearing. That'll be concluded on the 26th of April. I'm not going to comment further on that this evening because the matter is still under litigation.
Did you say the 26th of April?
Excuse me, 26th of August.
Thank you.
I did say that, Don, I apologize. It's 26th of August.
Thank you.
And that I need to make the council aware that the counsel for Mr. Skradsky has filed a counterclaim against the city. That counterclaim is being handled by counsel assigned through our participation in MIA. And so I'm working with them. I went to Missoula last week for a meeting with the defense counsel for the city on that aspect of the case. But I'm not going to have any further comment on it this time. Did have I think, a productive meeting with the Judiciary Committee this afternoon. We're looking into some public nuisance issues and maybe trying to revamp the ordinance and try to get something put together that maybe we can try and clean up some of these problem areas around town. The criminal side of things is progressing as usual. I've had to postpone a lot of cases lately just because of all of the excitement on the civil side of things with the court appearances and whatnot. Other than that, I would be happy to take and entertain questions.
Okay, thank you. Planning board, Mr. Hand.
In your packet, you'll find planning board minutes from April 1st, May 6th, June 3rd, and July 8th. Ask your acceptance.
Move to accept.
Second.
Been moved by Russ, seconded by Diane, discussion.
As you can see, there's a number of different topics covered by the planning board. And we're still trying to get the CIP all together and ready to roll.
Call for the question.
Question's been called for to accept the April 1st, the May 6th, the June 3rd, and the July 8th meeting 2021 of the planning board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
That completes my report.
Take that unanimous. Thank you. Zoning Commission, Mr. Graham. No, he handled it last time, if I remember right.
Before you, you'll find 4 sets of minutes. I ask for your approval.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved by Dan, seconded by John. Discussion.
Clarification, 2 minutes, 2 public hearings. For the record, please.
Is what?
2 sets of minutes, 2 sets of public hearing.
Yeah.
For the minutes, please.
Correct. July 13 minutes and July 13 public hearing for Beaver Drive and July 13 public hearing for Noble Avenue. And July 27 minutes, meeting minutes.
Call for the question?
Was that a question? All those in favor of approving the July 13th public meeting, or the meeting minutes, July 13th public hearing minutes of Labor Prize, July 13th public hearing of the Noble Avenue, and the July 27th meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. And it is unanimous.
As you can see, we've been fairly busy. We dealt with Beaver Pride subdivision. He actually withdrew or postponed his request for zoning change. So we won't be dealing with that for a while. The Noble Avenue will actually be dealt with, I believe, the next zoning, or the next council meeting, probably. If everything goes good. Set up a hearing and all that good stuff. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. That will conclude my report.
And I should have asked this when we were doing the minutes. There's, when John Stonelake was talking, I think, in the hearing, he mentioned Selway Drive. Is that correct? Traffic, he lives on Leggett and he's talking about Selway. Is that supposed to be Selway or is that supposed to be Sky High?
I think it probably should be Sky High, not Selway, but it's recorded from a tape, so he must have said Selway over the film. I guess we could ask her to review the tape to make sure what he said.
I just now caught that.
Yeah.
You know, what's Selway got to do with Leggett and that subdivision?
We can have a listen to the tape and double check that.
I was just wondering if that was a typo or if he said something wrong.
Is he looking at that as people coming off of Subway and coming back through there and then coming through Abbeville? Is it a shortcut? That would make sense.
Selway is over there by the subway, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry, I was
how-
thinking Lackner, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, no, you're right.
And I bet you that's probably what he meant. He was probably thinking of Lackner and said Selway.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and I'm trying to think of his name. His name isn't John Stonelake. It's
It's Lynn.
Lynn Stonelake.
Lynn.
Yeah, his name is Lynn.
It says John.
I know. John, they have a
John's
son.
his son.
Is a son, yeah. But this was Lynn who spoke.
That's the only thing I saw. I don't know why I didn't bring it up when we were looking at the minutes.
Okay. Director of Operations, Mr. Hazley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First thing I'd like to do is thank the college football team for their community services last Thursday. And then within the city, they helped do some painting within the parks, picnic tables, painted some of the buildings at the cemetery, and then I also understand they did some work at the library. And then also, thank you to School District Number 10. Stacy was able to work with the school district to work a deal for some tables that they had that were in the cafeteria. And with the help of the college football players, we were able to get them upstairs. So we do have tables upstairs for events if that happens. Then Stacy was also able to obtain some other furniture for, in fact, this room, or was it this room?
Well, it'll be here.
Yeah.
Need some rec-
A new AP.
Yeah, some audio equipment cabinet, and then also the mayor's a little more executive because of Stacy's work.
I'm an executive now.
He's an executive now, he has an executive table, or desk, so.
And it was a big deal, $1.
I thought something looked different.
Yeah.
I just noticed how clean it was. I didn't even know it was new.
I didn't let them see what it looked like before.
So thank you to, again, to the college and then also the school district number 10 for their help. Just some projects that are coming up, they have started the fencing project over here. I know it's not the correct term, but I will use it, the Carpeta parking lot, putting the fence along the backside of that. We're starting with that. Hopefully get that done as soon as possible. They'll be striping the streets within the next couple of weeks. And then as part of that, under the police department, we'll put the blue line. So. And then also, we're going to do some paving projects. So that be happy to answer any questions. I don't know why I get so damn emotional with this crap.
How many times are you going to tease us poor people on Park Street by bringing the excavator down there and pretend you're going to pave that corner and then move it out of there?
We've only done it twice. Third time will be a charm, how's that?
Okay.
I don't think that was us this time, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was us.
Was it?
Yep.
Because I know that Rose, wasn't it Rose? Isn't that her name that was on?
Oh, Beverly?
Yeah, Beverly. She hired a company to come in and throw some gravel and smooth it out down there.
On the corner of Park and Bozeman?
No, this is down
All
on your hall.
Yeah, no, I was talking about that pothole that's in the corner. Was the city got the water line up 4 years ago?
That's
We thought we
fine.
had enough asphalt. We ran out of asphalt,
Yeah.
so we just buried it again.
Yeah. We had a
It
practice.
is nice to have new gravel there, so it's not so rough for a while.
And that will be fixed as soon as we get the recycler, which is supposed to be coming any time now.
Heard that.
I know. That's one of the ones that we're gonna use as the test. Okay. I didn't mean to steal your.
No, it's fine, no. Happy to answer any questions. Maybe not happy, but I'll answer any questions.
Well, the painting looks just fabulous, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, college is a nice group of kids, nice group of young men.
Okay, we'll move on, thank you. Police Department, let's see what's his name. Mr. Kyverson, Chief Kyverson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask the council to approve the July 21 activity report.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Dan, seconded by Russ, discussion.
Looks like you've been busy.
Yeah, I really like this the ability to do this with our calls and stuff. It kind of gives people a little more realistic, view of what we do on a daily basis, or what the officer should do, I should say. But yeah, it just doesn't seem to stop. Usually you get like a week, it's busy, and then all of a sudden it's, quiet for a couple of days, you catch up, but it just hasn't been like that for quite a while now. So I think we're in a new norm.
Chief, what's the difference between disposition and clearance codes?
So the disposition, that's pretty easy because they stand for active, closed, or inactive cases. And usually what that is like, you'll even look down here, you'll see it where it says like an alarm, and you look over and it'll say it's active. It doesn't necessarily mean it's active, it just means that we haven't gone back through, which we do monthly, and then we put we close out the cases like an alarm if nothing happened. So then they'll all go to inactive, and then the ones that are active remain in the officer's box to finish up, and then they kind of send us what they're doing with it, and we close them out. But we do that monthly, so that's why it shows this, that some of them are active and they're really not. The clearance codes, what those are, is that's, Raymond had talked about that. Someone like CTW, that just means cleared traffic warning. There's some other ones here that report to follow, no further action. They're just clearance code for our record system. So then we can go back if someone calls and says, hey, what happened with this case or whatever, we're able to go back and look at the clearance code. Like the report to follow ones, I always follow up on them to make sure the reports are taken care of. So the clearance codes really kind of help us, like UTL, I'm able to locate. So they just have different clearance codes for our systems, so they're easier to basically go back and find.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, when you say closed versus active, is closed mean it's closed for the police, or is it closed forever kind of thing?
No.
It doesn't make it to the judge.
Probably doesn't make it to the judge. It really depends, because on like the traffic stop, like this closed one, I probably assume that nothing happened with it, so there's no ticket. So what it'll do is means we don't have to send anything forward. So it doesn't mean that, you can always open up, it just takes away kind of the clutter. So we're not doing anything more on it. It is basically what it is. So I guess that's a long way to answer your question, is it's done for us.
Okay. I know, it was just kind of sunk into me after 8 years. I looked at the judge's sheet, and there's like, 12?
Yeah.
Well, I see almost 12 pages. So.
Yeah. And it is kind of funny. They don't see most of them. Like, we see, like Jim's office gets very few of what we do, because if it's not a ticket or it's not a criminal case, then they don't see it. So, like even with these, traffic warnings and stuff like that, they never see those, or ambulance calls, alarms. It's pretty
true. That's true.
It's very condensed.
Yeah.
We do a lot that it really isn't criminal, like accidents, those kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I would be more than happy to answer any questions. I do just have a couple of things first.
Call for the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing it. So,
Question to call for to approve the July 2021 activity report for the police department. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. I take that as unanimous. Now, Chief.
okay,
Sorry.
I'll make it really quick here. We've had, things are doing great. We're busy. The system, our new system stuff's really coming along good. Everybody's kind of getting the hang of it now, and we're putting some more things forward in it that you approved. So we'll be learning a little more of that. It's really condensing our work, so it's very, very nice now. I'd just like to give a shout out to Randy Braddock. She kind of took the bull by the horns, and over at the YMCA, she had some police over there and set up with the highway patrol and the county, and the kids were able to run through the cars, look at everything, got fingerprinted, got a bunch of complaints that kids were on the PA at 9:30 in the morning waking people up. So, yeah, that's my report to you for the complaint. I'm supposed to tell you about all the complaints. But that's the complaint there. They were answered very appropriately by people on Facebook that they never did call me about it afterwards. So they took care of it themselves. So we're getting ready for Labor Day. Trainings have been going good. We qualified internist went up, and he's a certified firearms instructor now, so we can do everything locally, which is really nice. We have to send people to get qualified, and so we got everybody, the people qualified, and it costs us minimal amount as compared to, how it's been in the past, so. Everything else is doing good, and any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item, Fire Department, Fire Chief Closey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In your packet, you will find the city clerk's report for the fire call for July 2021. And I would ask for your approval on that and approval on the budget versus expenditures for the fire hall for July 2021.
Move to approve. Second.
Been moved by Dan, seconded by Russ. Discussion.
Call for the question.
Question has been called for to approve the city clerk report for fire hall July 2021 and the budget versus expenditures for fire hall for July 2021. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. I take that as unanimous. Anything else, Chief?
If there are any other questions or any questions, I would field them at this point.
Do you enjoy your 2 meetings off?
I actually did. Some days up there in Wise River, I would rather come back. Depending on the day, the rains do help the fires, but they slow down any operations, any burning operations and things that they have. So on the rain days or the days directly following the rains, it's very, very slow. And you might get 2 or 3 naps. And Don, Mr. Hand can attest to that. So, we've been up there for, I believe it's 38 or 39 days now. And I believe we will be there probably for the next, I would say the next 20 to 30 days. Just a guess, but I don't know what's going on up there. I would say we'll be up there for, and it's been nice. Gives our guys a fresh feel of what it's like to be on these big complex fires, and gives them a new sense of operation on the tenders.
Certainly helps out your budget.
It really, really helps out the budget.
But it is we pay him, but they also cover his salary.
Yeah.
We get the money back from them.
Yep, the DNRC reimburses the city for not only my wage, but also the benefits package as well. So if I'm up there, say, for 45 days or 60 days, that would give about 1/6 of our budget of my wage budget back, leave it into that fire hall budget. So, and I could see this happening in the next foreseeable future for years, because it is basically turning into a management tool for the Forest Service. They can't log it, so they can manage the fire, and they've done a nice job of managing this fire. I will give them that. They've done a nice job, Alder Creek, protecting the structures, and any risks, they've done a fairly nice job of mitigating those. So.
Do you have to put out the EPA required clean air permit?
Nope.
Lots of pages paperwork there.
I think it's just kind of a silly question. Wouldn't it be nicer to log all that stuff and get something out of it rather than pollute our air? And
Yep, I really agree with you.
that'd be a better
But
management tool.
the only problem is when they try to create a timber sale, it's a huge difference. I would like to challenge all of you to go to the BLM and the Forest Service and see what it takes for them two organizations to do a timber sale. The BLM had a section of ground right there that they had a timber sale scheduled for next year. They were in that first week along Tie Creek and had about 300 feet along the road, cut and decked, and it's all hauled out of there. It took the Forest Service that week plus another 5 days to get them to allow the Forest Service to cut the same along a different road on their property.
So now it's probably because 4 years before that they started. Not the BLM, but the Forest Service.
Yeah.
They always seem to be sued by everybody.
Right, and that's the problem. I'm not pushing the Forest Service or anybody else's agendas, but I know their hands are really hot, really tied.
They can backburn it in 24 hours, so.
Yes.
That's what my comment was meant to, you know, all the environmentalists all the time, they're suing and they're complaining about how much smoke and stuff in the air. Somewhere along the way, one of them's gonna get smart enough to see one coincide with the other.
You're asking for reasonable.
I get this discussion every night at home, DJ. I feel right at home.
I thought you came to these meetings to get away from that.
What's that?
I thought you came to these meetings to get away from those talks.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Good bid for me.
Okay, we'll move on. Thank you. There's an old city clerk. She is back with a kid. Don't have the minute or report yet. And city treasurer, you guys just did that last meeting. And tree board, I bet you they're still out for summer.
We are.
Next month, you guys gonna have your meeting?
It's on the books next, but it's one of those weird months.
Okay. It's probably kind of hard too, because I know Tim is out on fire, or he's in the DNRC with some of the fire stuff.
Well, and the only thing that we're still trying to wrap up, kind of our work year goes from September through July. And the only thing we're trying to wrap up from last year is the video. And the guy who's doing the video is fighting fires. So, we're just kind of stuck. When the fires go out, then we'll work on the video again.
Right.
You can get a good deal on some slightly smoked trees.
Maybe.
Okay, reports of standing committees of the city council, judiciary, Mr. Nye.
Yes, we had a meeting today. No minutes yet, so.
Thank you. Finance committee, Mr. Hand.
No meeting, no report, Mr. Sam.
Fire hall, Russ or Raymond, don't care.
No meeting, no report.
Works. We'll get Raymond next time. Health and welfare, Mr. McGinley.
No meeting, no report.
I will have got to set up some time
Yeah.
on that. That one, I only have one item unless somebody can correct. It's the quarterly report for the nurse. That's the only item. And so unless you guys have a special, I hate to have one to sign, it might take 5 to 10 minutes only. But we can wait another month and then have a meeting, if that's okay, and then we'll hopefully have 2 quarterlies. Okay? Okay. Unless you guys have something that was assigned that I can't find. I think that's the only thing that was on the agenda. Cemetery committee, Mr. Hand. Or, no, Diane Armstrong.
No meeting, no report.
Thank you. Parks committee, Ms. O'Rourke.
Yes, we met, but there's, the minutes must not be done yet.
No, you're gonna meet this week or next week come up.
And we meet next week, yeah.
I think if you have a meeting,
Yeah, I don't know what we're meeting on.
Well, I'll look in our book and I'll send those to you.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I looked at the minutes and there really isn't anything.
they
Moving
carry
forward,
on,
so.
yeah. I'd see the same thing too, I agree, Todd. Okay, and again, City Hall, Mr. Graham.
No meeting, but we need to schedule a meeting for sometime next week, whichever works best for
Mr. McKinley and Mr. Knight. Any times that are better for you guys, afternoons, mornings?
Afternoons for me. Doesn't matter to me.
Four.
4 o'clock's fine.
Tuesday
or
or Wednesday?
Let's do it on Wednesday, if that would be better, or does it matter? I just have.
Wednesday, parks, if they have a parks.
Okay, well, Tuesday's fine, then. Whatever works, it don't matter.
Tuesday, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll set up Tuesday. Okay, thank you. Street Highway Committee, Mr. Nye.
I'm writing something. Before you, you have the minutes of August 2nd. Ask for your approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Raymond, seconded by Russ. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I believe we have improperly addressed the reading ordinance number 468. It is presently tabled under this committee, under item number 4, you'll see. This should not be before the council at this time for action tonight until it comes out of table in committee.
Oh, that, I thought we put it on here because that's what item 3 said, move it to the council.
It was until we tabled it though.
You didn't table it.
We did in item 4.
Yeah, and 4 could just be answered by Mr. Dolan tonight.
We're waiting for, the committee's waiting to hear from Mr. Dolan, though, that's it. This is still in committee. If you're gonna follow Robert's Rules of Order, it has to come out of committee first unless there's a supermajority vote of the council to take it out of committee.
Okay? Then what we'll do is it'll be on the next street alley, which will be the first Monday of this month,
Thank you.
which will probably be, what, the 6th? No, that's a holiday.
Sounds good to me.
That's on, it's a holiday?
Yeah,
What do you want to do, holiday?
may as well. Just another day.
That's Labor Day.
It's Labor Day.
That's how it. So much work.
Labor Day. You're supposed to have that off, Russ. The day of non-labor for Labor Day.
Yeah, you tell that to some of the people too, buddy. Some of you are
Okay.
privileged.
If everybody's fine with it, we'll just send it back table. Because I thought reading that 3 was sent forth, that was the main reason. The other one was just waiting for Mr. Dolan. He has an answer tonight, so. But otherwise, we'll send it back to the next meeting, and we'll set one up it won't be Monday, because that's a holiday, maybe Tuesday right after the holiday. Mornings or afternoons, late afternoons.
Whatever.
Change it.
That's Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Right, Tuesday.
Tuesday, you're free in the afternoon, Russ?
Oh, yeah, I'm so free.
Yes,
You can't even give me a white man. 4 is great.
Okay.
4 is great.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Tuesday, what's that, the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, and just pull off, well, we got to approve the minutes still.
True.
Did we have a vote or a
No,
motion to approve the
question.
minutes?
There's motion to approve it.
Okay.
Call for the question.
Question, we call for to approve the August 2nd, 2021 meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We take that as unanimous. And I take it that's it for the minutes?
Yep.
Okay. Last item, Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Hand.
Are we gonna,
That's been tabled. That's why I asked the question today.
There's no minutes. We did have a request to purchase a hot tap machine for multiple line sizes for the new water lines. So we have the equipment necessary to handle our water needs. And that's your approval of that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved by Raymond, seconded by Russ. Discussion.
This was actually dealt with the minutes last week, we just didn't put it in there correctly.
That's correct, yes.
Call the question then?
Okay, question's been called for to approve purchasing the hot tap kit for multiple line sizes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, unanimous. And it has been added to the budget a while ago, so.
Good, thank you.
I need to have a water and sewer committee meeting,
Good.
and that's Don, Russ, and Raymond.
When did you propose?
You guys know it.
I'm out of state Monday and Tuesday. Sorry.
It won't be Wednesday, Thursday.
Didn't do that.
I'm looking more at Russ.
1:30?
No, please.
Oh, that's right, wait a minute, no, we can't do a public hearing, or hearing in the court on Thursday. So,
Nine.
at 1:30, so,
Did that be early in one?
No.
or Friday. Friday, 9 you want? Okay, can 9, everybody make 9?
9 Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday, 9, okay.
Okay, 9 o'clock. And that's next Thursday, so that's August 26th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, last item, public comment on items of significant public interest not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the city.
Mr. Mayor, we approved the minutes from the Street and Alley Committee. We didn't approve the first reading of ordinance number 468. Did we need to go over that one?
That one should never have been brought up at this meeting. That's the item's tabled in committee.
Oh, okay. The whole
Thing, yep.
thing. Oh, okay.
So we'll put it back on the Street and Alley Committee to handle the one thing that wasn't handled, that was tabled, and then it'll come back. So it'll be probably the second meeting of September, first reading will occur, if they agree and agree with the reading or the position, that's the one to use, of the city attorney. Okay?
I guess I'm just wondering, in terms of process, if people have problems with parts other than the one part that was tabled, if they have problems with this particular ordinance, would you rather deal with it in committee? Would you rather have people come and talk at your next committee meeting, or would you rather have them come to the council meeting?
They should come to the committee meetings first. That's what the first vetting occurs.
Okay.
And also,
And so that meeting will be when?
The 7th.
4 o'clock.
7th of September 7th,
September 7th
at 4 o'clock.
at 4 o'clock. Great.
And on how I'm gonna do the agenda is I'll put the whole ordinance up. Because the question you have, it entails of the whole ordinance on can you not follow state law or what? Or something like that is the question. Had to do, I know, with the 7 days versus 5 days.
Right.
Okay, but kind of opens up, can we change? And that's what he's gonna answer on that. So then leave it open and anybody has a part that they want to change from what state law says, that then would be either be able to be done or not done, you know.
Well, and then if they have other parts of the ordinance that they have problems with. One of my questions, I discussed it a little bit earlier tonight with Mr. Dolan, is a legal question. Would you rather have me submit that to Mr. Dolan before the 7th?
So you can submit it to the mayor.
Yes, to me as soon as you can,
Oh, tomorrow morning.
to give him as much time as he can before the 7th. It doesn't work if you give him the day before, there's no way.
It's not fair.
Okay,
Not fair.
okay, thank you. Okay, we're back again, public comment. I'm not gonna say the rest of the part. Does anybody out there have public comment?
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Raymond, seconded by Russ to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Meeting adjourned.